everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, this is T Outlaw.
And we are back with an all-new episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. You can always find me for new listeners if you ever want to, shoot me a tweet online at JJ Outlaw. You can catch me on Instagram at Gourmet Goober. And every episode, I am here with my BFF, that dude, the Dark Desperado, Poppin' Fresh. I think that's what we called you.
Poppin' Fresh?
Remember it was Fresh Squeeze?
Wow. I don't remember this.
You know what? If you can name yourself Dark Desperado, I can name you Poppin' Fresh. Anyway, my BFF, my hubby, T Outlaw.
That's me.
If you can see the face he's giving me right now.
The shade is real.
I wouldn't call it shade, but anyway. Where can they find you online for our new listeners, which apparently we got quite a few since our last episode?
Cool. Well, you can find me, T Outlaw, on Twitter at T Outlaw, TOUTLAW, and on Instagram at T Outlaw Josie Wells. You can also find me at Blacksit on other mediums, but don't go looking.
Blacksit?
I am Blacksit.
On what medium? This is new to me.
I'll tell you later now. I got nothing.
Okay, apparently he's slap happy now.
I'm not slap happy. I'm just kidding. Anyway,
everyone, it's really great to be back on the mic. Welcome to those of you who've joined us, because like I said, we picked up a lot of new listeners since our last podcast. And for those of you who are joining us after our Bob's Burgers interview, howdy do to you. Also, since I think the last time we were on the mic, it was in May. Yes. Want to also say happy Pride to our listeners who celebrate Pride. And we also celebrate Pride even if you are not a member of the LGBTQ plus community. If you're ally, happy Pride to you. And happy Black Music Month as well. Because all music we invented. So there.
Cool. Yeah.
I have to say, it feels really good to laugh. And
it does.
For those of you who are joining us as this episode is being released, you probably know that it's been a trying couple of weeks since we've been on the mic. You know, with the shootings that happened in Buffalo, New York, Uvalde, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right before we started recording, we learned of an execution style shooting that happened and just outside of Madison, Wisconsin, with this person, like I guess he zip tied a retired judge to a chair and shot him. And the guy had a kill list of other people. Yeah, we have been really hit lately, for lack of a better word, with just a lot of insane happenings that's going on.
Yeah, there's been an onslaught of unfortunate incidents, and for the most part, it's almost become like a daily occurrence. Even on the weekends, there's always been something new, but also quite scary. We're just going to say that.
And I have to say, I know it's probably been weighing on you a lot. It's been weighing on us a lot. For those of you who listened to our last regular episode, you may have noticed even the little intro that we recorded right beforehand. And we were talking right before we went on the mic, do we address it? Do we not address it? Do we talk about it? And, we decided it would be kind of disingenuous not to at least say something, because you, at least I hope you, watching all of this, it's been really alarming, especially what happened in Uvalde. Because the more you hear about what happened in Uvalde, the more horrible it gets by the minute. The fact that there were upwards of 19 police officers in the building,
yes.
just inside the building, not mentioning outside the building.
Yes.
Like there were people, like parents who were like breaking into the building and going full Rambo and saving their kids. So shout out to those people.
In defiance of the orders by the people outside.
Right, exactly. Who wasn't going in, or like the story of what happened in Buffalo, New York, where that guy was a raging bigot and he cased the place, and it's just so heartbreaking because of all the people that he killed. You know, he did this out of malice, obviously, because he was, I'm going to say it, the word white supremacist. And, you know, he believed in this theory that by virtue of us as people of color, as black people just existing, it takes away from his life somehow. Because there are some people out there who are preaching this replacement theory or something. And, you know, when you see things like that constantly all the time and you hear things like that, you know, it just kind of weighs on your soul. And as people, we're supposed to go about our business and do our lives, and we'll talk about this in a moment. This happened in the midst of like something really cool that was happening for us, so we were trying to stay positive at the same time we wanted to just cry.
True.
um so it's been a really hard couple weeks, and I just want to acknowledge that. I'm sure you have some words to say about it. um First and foremost, we are sending prayers of comfort, of peace to the family and friends of those affected. Um, yeah, we can't even imagine what it's like to lose someone in the way that you've lost your loved one, whoever they may be. Um, I don't want to be the only person to talk, and
No.
and to be honest,
Well, first and foremost, let me ask.
Yeah.
Right now, like at this moment, on the and for the audience,
Right.
mental check-in. How are you feeling?
Wait, are you asking the audience? Or are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. I was like, they can't answer you.
No, they cannot. You can later, but I'm probably not hearing you at this moment.
You know what? Going into the mic, and I can say something because usually in this segment, for those who are new, we usually go back and forth. So you'll start, and then I will join in.
Yes.
But we decided just to have a conversation,
Right.
because we knew that we would get emotional talking about this. So my check-in is the more I talk about it, the more it's been really weighing on me, because there are layers to this and our processing. I mean, in general, the loss of life has just been so astronomical, especially what happened in Uvalde. Those are children.
Correct.
Those are babies. Oh my God.
2 teachers.
Yeah, and 2 teachers. And even though I unfortunately have never been blessed to be a mom, I've been a kid. I know kids. I can't imagine this. And then this happened not that long after what happened in Buffalo.
Right.
And just not only the colossal sense of sadness over the loss of these people's lives, especially when you learn about a lot of these were older Black adults who lived in this community. There was also a retired police officer who was a security guard who also lost his life in this.
Right.
And the fact that not only is it a gun violence issue, but as a Black woman, to see that he targeted those people, particularly because they're Black, you know, is to live in an existence all the time of just being afraid about my well-being, about my family's well-being. You know, my mother and father are Black. My siblings are Black. My husband's Black. I'm Black.
I'm Black?
Yes. But all jokes aside, it's hard because you hear the guy cited replacement theory is the reason why he did it. And you hear people talk about this bigoted theory like all the time. And I've had discussions with people in the past like, this is alarming. And they're like, oh no, it's not. And then you see someone like take upon himself to kill people for that reason. And it's really hard. So going into this, I told myself I'm not going to cry. I kind of prepared myself to kind of not be so vulnerable in front of the mic because we have to get through a show.
Right. Sure.
But yeah, I'm not going to lie and say that this is probably the easiest or the best I have been on the mic in discussing an issue because
this is your heart.
It weighs on you because, you know, the loss of life is senseless, right?
It is.
And then it weighs on you because of the various reasons why it happened. You know, it just feels like we were just getting over the wave of sadness and feeling of fear that was instilled with the Buffalo shooting. And then you see the Uvalde shooting. And then you learn about what happened during the Uvalde shooting that made it all the worse, like 78 minutes. No one responded to those children's calls from inside the building for 78 minutes. And then after that, Tulsa happened. And then it's never ending, you know? And then you get frustrated because all of them use like the same gun. Like in the case of the Tulsa, the guy who shot the hospital, that afternoon he went and bought his AR-15 and then he just went shooting people. This is not a political show. I'm not going to waste my time talking about the rights and wrong of the AR-15. I know people who collect guns. I grew up in Indiana. In the heart of Indiana, I know a lot of people because the space I grew up with, a lot of people choose to go hunting and deer hunting and things like that. Although I'm sure they don't use AR-15s because the way they work, they would like destroy the meat and everything.
Yes, they would.
I mean, it's like a gun of war. I don't see that. But the fact that we are not willing to acknowledge as a country, especially when you look at other countries, we're like the only Western country that deals with these shootings on the regular. It's just insane. And particularly, and again, I don't want to be the only one just talking, but
this is your check-in. This is your testimony. So
yeah, but I think the part that just makes it so enraging is the fact that we are not willing to be honest with ourselves about the real problem, right? Because I've heard, yeah, they should just have one door going into the building. Okay, so if there's like a fire, everyone's going to leave out of one door, right? In and out, one door. That doesn't even make any sense. It's violent video games. Dude, let me just tell you guys, for those who don't know me, when I was a kid, when I was in college, when we met, I played Mortal Kombat like a fiend, like a motherfucking fiend. Okay.
I played Madden.
Seriously, Mortal Kombat. I can kick your butt probably in Tekken.
Maybe it was Tecmo Bowl. Sorry, that's all I knew was sports games at that point.
You played me in Mortal Kombat once. It was not pretty. We're not gonna go into.
We're just gonna say that I'm not a good video game player, except for sports games.
Tekken, man, Street Fighter, man, that was my jam. Okay, but as many times as I played Mortal Kombat, I did not leave and go make yanking people's body parts off like Scorpion. Video games don't work like that. Okay, I'm sorry. If that's the case, Generation X would have mowed you guys down a long time ago.
Let it be said, though, every once in a while, didn't you just want to have that feeling like you wanted to take a lightsaber and do a little shredding?
Well, yeah, and I rarely tell people it's a good thing I don't have the Force because I can't be trusted with that shit.
Okay.
I straight up would be going after people. Back in the day when I had PMS, Let me tell you something.
Um,
Half of y'all would have been dead.
well.
Just being honest. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not the video games, right? It's not. I heard somebody say it was rap music. Come on, that old chestnut. You've been blaming rap music since hip hop began, since we were children. That was still the same complaint. Let me tip you off to something. It is not the rap music. I'm sorry, it is not. It's not. It's the gun. Okay. It's the AR-15. Maybe you shouldn't make it so easy to get something like that. I mean, dude, we regulate cars. It's easy to get one of these guns in Sudafed. I mean, come on. I'm not going to go into a lot of details because, again, I don't want that to be the focus of today's show. But in terms of checking in, yeah, this week has been really, really hard. What about you?
What about me? Oh boy. Hi, this is Tiallo again. And
wait, where can they find you? Oh, you already did that.
Yes, I did speak on my social media handles.
I've just been lost in that last statement. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. We with you. No, and please forgive me because I'm going to do my best to be short. And
unlike me, sorry.
No, it's okay. And it's unscripted, but this is my heart, so I will speak it as well as I can. The best thing I can say is this. We can blame the gun because that's, been the weapon of choice for a lot of these these acts of carnage. But that's not the only way. Sorry, this occurred. But let's start off with saying this. How do I feel? First and foremost, I have gone through a period of alternating between feeling very raw, very sensitive, very cringy on edge about everything. About literally looking over my shoulders because make no mistake, it affects all of us, first and foremost. But I've gone between being very sensitive, crying, anger, frustration, and then at the same time feeling numb. And the doggy producer has feelings that he wants to share also, but we're not going to let him.
I'm not really sure why he's doing that. We're going to take. I'm really not sure what happened with this barking, but go ahead, sweetie.
No, let's just say starting off, I've alternated between being very sensitive and raw and being numb because after reading a lot of stories around a lot of subjects that have to do with pain, suffering, death, and this is even before random mass shootings. This is even like going back to the subway shooter. This is going back to the shooting of the guy shot up the area in L.A. Let me say, after feeling this, after you read all these stories, it's almost like a lot of people feel like the feeling of, hey, you know what? Everything is happening every day. There's always something. Well, that is true. But at a certain point, when you start feeling this every single day and you start not feeling it, maybe that's what the collective feeling of, this country is. We're numb. And what can we do about it? Just keep saying, some people are saying, oh, no, we shouldn't worry about, what, other people go on because, that's just a thing. That's a daily occurrence. Really? Do you really want to say that's just a daily occurrence and just ignore it? Because the thing I'm feeling is, because we're talking about it right now, because we're black and brown, that's one segment of the community. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that at a certain point, it's going to affect you. All of us. And the thing that bothers me is for the people who just kind of dismiss it or say, like, well, you know, we need better people with better guns. Well, this isn't, I like to believe we progressed past, I don't know, the Wild Wild West. I like to believe we have gone past, I don't know, the Civil War or the American Revolution. I believe we've advanced past that because I believe we are decent people. Um, but saying this quickly, I think the gun is like, the element of destruction. The AR-15 just happens to be the vogue, weapon of choice. I think the bigger problem is, some people say is mental health. It kind of is, but at the same time, the one kind of goes with the other. You know, I take the opinion that really we all need to just stop, have a collective moment that we all, every single person, needs to say, hey, stop. Let's all take a collective, I'm not going to say a kumbaya moment, but we all going to stop and respect each other and say, listen, we have a problem. We don't have time to ignore the problem anymore. Let's figure it out together, not divisively playing like, roles and games like, of he said, she said, whatever they want to say. It's all of us, and we all need to collectively take a breath and say, listen, we have a problem, and we collectively, if we want to be that quote unquote country that, I'm sorry to tell you, when they say that we don't see color, you damn well see color. You damn well see sex and sexual orientation. You damn well see misogyny. You just don't act upon it. So let's all just get together and say, listen, we got a problem and we need to fix it together. Not here, there, everywhere. This side, it's this side's fault or this side's fault. No, it's all of our faults. And we all need to come together and get this together first and foremost, along with saying, I don't have to love you, but I have to respect you. For young kids who have been disillusioned by whatever stimulus. If you mad, you mad. But at the same time, you can't live here in this country, on this earth, and always be mad about something. You have to feel something. And really, the only thing I can say to you is God bless you. Because if God or whatever deity made you, he made you with love, not with hate. And if we keep letting the devil intrude upon our daily lives, what kind of existence do we have? That right now is what I'm feeling. That's my check in. That's all I can say.
Mm. Well, no matter from what aspect you come from it, and I think you and I come from different angles at some point. I think the basis of what you're saying about this has to be a problem that we all have to be committed to solving. I think that's the important thing.
Right.
Um, and I don't think everyone's heart is in it. Not truly. I mean, I think we hear the same stories every time. We heard the same stories after Sandy Hook. We heard the same stories after the nightclub shooting, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And
we heard a similar story, like, at the shooting at the churches,
right. After
at the
what
synagogues, at the mosques.
right. And at some point we just need to stop. Um the part that really gets me the most, and I think it's really shaken me, is the fact that I think we're getting used to it to the point where it's just like, oh well, there's another people shooting, and then we just go back to life the way it was. It kind of reminds me, and I don't want to bring it back up again. And we didn't want to talk about this extensively. That was not our point of having this discussion on the mic. Um, I think I told the story before where I used to be more focused as a freelance writer. And I remember when Philando Castile was shot and killed by police. He was a licensed gun owner. He told the police officer, hey, when he got pulled over, just to be smart and do what I'm supposed to do, I have a gun in here. And, I'm licensed to carry, blah, blah, blah. And he was shot and killed. And he was bleeding out and dying in a car with his partner and his young
daughter, I think.
His partner's daughter. They were engaged. So it was to be his future stepdaughter in the back seat.
Okay.
And she was no more than 3 or 4. And I remember seeing the video and just feeling just so crushed and defeated. Because you could hear the little girl pleading like to her mom. Her mom is weeping in the car because she just saw the love of her life get mowed down, right? For no explanation. And her daughter is consoling her. Mommy's going to be okay. And it was just, the little girl's voice had just like squeezed me to the core. And I just remember that day distinctly when the video first came out, because I was writing a story for a magazine, and I had, as part of my story, an interview. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was an interview with the HGTV star, the one that we talked about, the big fancy oven that had to be hand delivered.
Oh, yeah. I really remember that.
Yeah. So he was doing a house, right? And I had a chance to interview him, and I was really excited about going into that day. And I just remember I could not stop crying. And as luck would have it, I was thinking to myself, I don't know how I'm going to get through the day. I don't know how I'm going to have this interview with this guy. I just don't know what I'm going to do. And then luck intervened, right? And he had to cancel because he had some like big project that went over that he needed to have done. He apologized. We traded emails. Okay, we'll reschedule. But I was so grateful because I could not function that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at one point I had to go to the grocery store because I needed to make dinner. So I went to the grocery store, and what took me was this Flando's death made national news, right? So it was everywhere. And they kept replaying that video because if the media likes to do one thing, is they like to show Black pain over and over again, right? So you saw that shot. By the time that morning had ended, I had seen that video like 5 times in the news. And I'm a news junkie. I watch the news all the time. I had to turn it off because I'm like, I need to focus on taking care of me. So I went to the grocery store, which if you listen to the store normally, you would also know that I'm a weirdo and I like grocery shopping.
You do like to go grocery shopping.
But I just remember like trying to gather myself before going into the store. And then I walked in the store and I noticed how people were just like normal, like it was an ordinary day. And I was just shaken by, did you not watch the news? Did you not see this horrible thing? How are you not destroyed? And I remember I saw this Black woman, elderly Black woman, it's an older woman, a woman of a certain age. And we made eye contact, and her eyes were red and my eyes were red. And we kind of gave each other the nod. And she whispered to me as we passed each other in the produce, are you okay? And I nodded, and I was like, you? And she nodded. And we just kind of exchanged that look like, okay, we're not crazy. We're completely destroyed by what happened. And we're just kind of giving each other that space and grace that, okay, we're feeling this. Okay. So then, I had to go through the line and check myself out and all of that stuff. Strike and Ventiles didn't have self-checkouts then, so I actually had to go through the line and cry in front of the person. Mm-hmm. It was really kind of a mess.
Okay.
But I say that story because I hadn't felt like that in a very long time until this past week with all all the shootings. And again, seeing that we have become so numb and so used to all of this that we can go back to another day and not collectively just lose our shit and demand change. It's really kind of sad to me because it just kind of destroyed me. And even like I said, we'll talk about how it affected our week in a minute because we had the Bob's Burgers interview, which was a bright spot. But in the midst of celebrating this bright spot, I had to like get myself out of that funk
Right.
to do the interview, and it was really hard. It really was.
Okay. Let me just say this, and I swear I'm not gonna like go into a tangent anymore, at least about this. But I want you to understand with full throated vibrancy about why this bothers me, about what's going on at this moment bothers me, because it I have to feel it because I'm kind of part of everything. When I speak about when I'm worried about, let's say, the Tops shooting in Buffalo, I have to think about it every day because we live in a chocolate city where we are kind of in a food desert because we have a grocery store like right up here, which is, a lot of African American people frequent.
Right.
It's getting like a little more gentrified right now, but quote unquote, if something were to happen to that store and it closed, even for like remodeling for a little while, the next store might be a dollar store, which is not too far from it. But at the same time, the next grocery store with produce and all this other stuff is a ways away, first and foremost. So, and there was if I believe right, like a year or two ago, a couple years ago, there was a stabbing in there.
I think so.
And that was, I think it closed for a short period, but it's one of those things where, yeah, I had to feel it because I kind of live in the area that was reminiscent of the people of Buffalo had to experience. And the part about Uvalde scared me too because, one, I have family that are teachers. I have a lot of friends that I went to school with that are teachers.
Yeah.
And let me explain to you when that day when I started hearing how bad things got, I sent a text to my sister. I sent a text to my cousin. I sent correspondence on social media to a couple other, people I knew. And I just asked them, "Are you okay?" And I will pray for you and your family that you are, you are settled and that you are secure at this moment. I also am hardened by Uvalde because and for the guys who went to, ladies and gentlemen who went to high school with me, know that when I was a freshman in high school, I remember very specifically like a late fall lunchtime, I believe it was fall, where not too far from, I was halfway across the quad of my high school on campus when a young man got into it with I guess another student, and he went and got his pistol, came back, and basically just started shooting at him. This kid lost his life, and we went into a panic. We went into a lockdown. Some of us, like, we didn't know what to do, and some of us, like, because it was kind of an open campus, we either ran somewhere or we had to go huddle in place. And then at a certain point, we were left to go home. But other than like a couple talks with, people, counselors, as you will, there was really not a lot that was done. But, we had memorials and whatever. But the thing was, I still carry that with me because that was my first year of high school. And you always remember stuff you did in high school. But the thing was, straight up and out, is one of those things where it may not affect you today, But at a certain point, somewhere, somehow, karma will tell you that it will touch you in some way, form, or fashion. And that when you hear that, you feel that panic. There's no escaping it. It hurts. That's it.
Well, I think this is kind of an awkward moment to make a transition, but I think we also need to.
Damn it, I did it.
Because I think we need to. I'm glad we had this discussion. It's sort of a weird and awkward way to open up a podcast about food and pop culture, but at the same time, it was needed, and I'm hoping that conversations are had elsewhere. But yeah, you know what? There's no easy way to put this, so we're going to transition on.
Okay.
That said, we meant what we had said about, you know, I hate the term thoughts and prayers because we use it so often now. That it's hollow. So I will only say that we're sending, we're meditating on for the comfort of peace, for peace and comfort for those affected by this, and that we hope that they get what they need to get through the day, and that we have leaders that will put aside, monetary gains that they may get from people who profit off the deaths of these individuals in order to hopefully they do the right thing. The time off mic since we last recorded was not all this, as we alluded to before.
We had the Goober had a very nice get together, a nice interview that you heard.
Hopefully you heard.
Yes.
What was it, about 3 weeks ago now?
Was it 3 weeks ago?
It seems like it. It's been so long ago.
Well, the movie was released around, what was it, just for Memorial Day?
Well, yeah, the movie was released last week, but when we were contacted, it was almost 3 weeks ago. I got an email from an individual who basically reached out to us, who asked, were we familiar with Bob's Burgers? And they wanted to include the Gourmet Goober podcast in this press junket, and wanted to know how we felt about interviewing the movie makers. So once I read the email, I tried to handle it like a mature adult because, I've been building this media brand for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, what happened was I went into where Big Daddy was working in the office and I started to do a happy dance and being really obnoxious.
She fangirled out. Like, seriously.
It was ridiculous, I'm not even lying to y'all. Now looking back on it, I'm kind of embarrassed because I'm just like, I don't want to be too eager. We're gonna interview people from Bob's Burgers. Oh my god! And then I started you looked at me like, breathe.
Yes. I thought she was hyperventilating. Yeah, I was like, are you hyperventilating?
And I was like, yes, because I actually couldn't breathe.
Mm-hmm. Did you get on the phone with your dad at one point and he had to talk you down too?
I got on my phone with my dad. Now keep in mind, I hadn't emailed the guy back yet. I was on the phone with my dad, and my dad was like, are you breathing? Big Daddy's like, no, she's not breathing. Do I need to get a paper bag?
Yes.
So finally I'm like, oh, wait, I should email him back and say, yeah, we're interested. Okay, I'm going to be an adult here. Thank you for reaching out to us, la 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 la. Yes, we are familiar with Bob's Burgers and we are big fans. We would welcome them on our podcast. Please send details. JJ. So then I didn't hear from him for a little bit. So I thought, oh, maybe I sounded a little too eager.
She started getting nervous.
But then he emailed me back after a couple days. And we kind of went back and forth about this. And I wanted to tell everybody. If it was up to me, I'd put it on a billboard. I started writing a press release for it.
Thought she was going to get a T-shirt.
And Big Daddy's like, maybe you should like wait until we get the confirmation. So then I get an email back, hey, so, because at first it was just Lauren and Nora. And they're like, we may be able to get Bernard Dairyman, who is an animator on the series. Would you be interested too? And we could be able to give you a screener. A screener? Ooh, like, one of those fancy Hollywood screeners? Now we big time. And of course, went into the office. Apparently, I can only get these emails when you're working.
Yes.
So you're like on the computer, you're trying to make deadline, and I'm like walking in and shaking you as you're typing. What is it, JJ? Oh my God, we're getting to see the movie first. And the thing is, I'm like literally losing my shit. And Big Daddy, no response. You were just like a wall. At one point, I was like, Are you happy about this? Because I'm like losing my shit right now. This is pretty cool. Because you know how long I've been waiting to see the Bob's Burgers movie.
Yes. I've known how long you've been waiting to see.
Because they announced it back in 2017, yo. I don't know why I said yo. And then it was supposed to be out last summer, and then they delayed it. And remember when they delayed it? I even talked about on the show how upset I was. We've been waiting for this for so long. It's like next to them delaying Miss Marvel last year. We'll talk about that in a minute. The fact that they delayed Bob's Burgers really honked me off.
Yeah, she was over in the corner like when they were like, oh, they might delay it for a little bit.
Yeah, I sound like Tina. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, you were excited, right? You were just playing sensible person to my fangirliness.
Well, somebody had to play the bad cop to this.
So, long story short, I was able to schedule a time. Unfortunately, because the time kept changing, and I got it. I got the screener. Which, by the way, if you have not seen the Bob's Burgers movie, please do. It's so great. We'll talk about it more in a moment, but it's really good. But after seeing the screener, we arranged the interview. The interview was unfortunately during the time that you were working, and you just couldn't skip out on that because you had just gotten back from your staycation.
Yes.
So I had to take on the interview by myself, which, I was confident in doing because I've had interviewed people before, but at the same time, I think this is the first time we did something for the podcast that wasn't together as a team. And I felt really kind of guilty about that because everything we built is something we've done together. But you're the one who basically said, you know what, it's your name your name is the title. It would be okay and you can handle it.
You're the goober. And more importantly, I'm like, it comes down to the concept of, well, this is what you want. I know that you are prepped with research about, the quote unquote show.
Right.
The producers, the animators, the creators and as such, almost all the characters. So thus, it's not like you don't know what you're talking about. It's just a matter of getting centered. We're just going to say that. That was the only thing I was just trying to make sure that she was centered enough to be able to get this interview done well.
And I think I did.
I think so.
Yeah. We had a little bit of problems with the audio. So if you're listening, you may notice that the audio is slightly off. Although I'm proud of myself because when we got the audio and I was like, holy shit, I can't put this out. But then I was able to get the audio and take out the background noise that you could hear it for the most part. Like it was way different when I got it than what we put out. And so I was proud that I was able to salvage it. So yay me.
Yes, yeah.
Extraordinaire.
She did a masterful job of audio editing.
So, in my next life, because I believe I believe that you do not come into this world with just one career. I mean, who does that? I've lived many lives.
And race.
So the idea that, if God forbid I move on and decide to do the gourmet goober or something more, like get more into production, basically, of producing, I can point to this and say, hey, this is what I was able to do. I fixed the audio. Yay.
See, now you're like Anthony Anderson in Hustle and Flow.
Although no one's singing Whoop That Trick. No.
If you want, I could try.
No. No, I think the interview went really well. It was funny, though, because I did mention the rabbit ears, and they kind of laughed at that. The cool thing about the interview, and I hope you guys listen to it, it's a very short Goober Bite, was the revelation that we know what one of the next big burgers of the day is going to be in the next season. So if you watch Bob's Burger, one of the many sight gags that the show has, is they feature something called the Burger of the Day, right? And so it changes. So there's like some that comes with Brussels sprouts and different, ingredients to kind of enhance the burger. Famously, Louise changed the burger to, remember the first episode, she changed it to the child molester?
Yes.
Because it came with candy.
That did not go over well.
One of the last questions I asked was a question you gave me, because they only gave me 15 minutes. When you do these press junkets, I mean, I knew a little bit about it, even though I've never participated in one. This is actually the first of many. Hopefully, I'm just going to speak that in the universe. But you only get a set time in minutes, and when you're done, right? And we were able to time it up to the last second. I was so proud of myself. But the interview, we had talked about several things, and the last question I had, I normally ask when we have guests on the show, what's the best thing you ate this week? But I knew that would be more complicated to get in with the time allotted. So, and for all of them to answer.
Yes.
So I asked them instead about your question, which is the burger of the day. Like, where do they get the ideas from? Have they tried it? Do they have a favorite?
Are they like actual real concepts that like can actually be replicated in a real restaurant somewhere?
Exactly. And the answer I got from Lauren was actually really fascinating. One that he mentioned, and I love this answer, that they don't want to say what the burger of the day is because the other burgers would get jealous, but I think it's so cute. But then they also said that they try to make the burger of the day something that was easy to be replicated and not just a joke recipe.
Yeah.
Because they want to show that Bob is actually a real chef. But then he volunteered that a future burger of the day will be.
Well, do you want to say it, or do you just want them to like check out the actual like show? That way you can find out what his response was.
Oh, you know what? That is great promotion. You're right.
Teaser. That's right. You have to go listen to find out.
Listen to the podcast. Dude, it's only 18 seconds. I mean, not 18 seconds, 18 minutes. You can do that. If you can listen to our long-ass podcast, you can listen to that.
That's right. Listen for those few minutes and get your life.
Why, thank you. And see, that's why that's why I roll with Big Daddy.
No. I'm just sitting here talking to myself because if I had to be honest at this very moment, yes, I very much listened to the interview. Yes, I critiqued the interview. At the same time, I was not part of the interview, and as such, I have never seen the movie nor the promo. Not the promo, sorry. She had the actual film.
Well, I had the screener sent to me.
The screener. Yeah.
But you didn't have a chance to do the screener because you had to be at work. So I was like, oh, I get to watch it.
So as of yet, still haven't seen it. So I don't know. I might have to go to the movie theater and this weekend and check it out.
I would be willing to pay for it. It was that good. Okay? But if you like Bob's Burgers, I mean, it's a lot of your favorite characters are back in the movie, which is great. A lot of great original songs, which is one of the things that makes this movie so special. I gotta say, the plot, I was really kind of there's a couple moments in the plot I was like in my feelings, like really like scared for the Belchers. I had to remind myself, like, Jennifer, this is an animated show. You're okay. They're fine. They're not really in danger. They're not real people. But I was engaged with it that enough that I felt it.
Wow, that's cool.
But yeah, it was a great time. So if you want to see it in the theater, we can. But yeah, that gave me some joy. So please listen to the episode. Hopefully, like we know we talked about some heavy shit at the beginning of this podcast. But I'm hoping that either seeing the movie or listening to the interview will just give you a brief reprieve. And speaking of that, one other thing, if you happen to have cable, I'm not sure if it's on regular television, but I found out that Bob's Burgers put out a secret short this week.
Okay.
And I've only seen it on cable. I don't know if it's on regular TV or on Hulu where they stream it. But honestly, the short is called, and I'm not kidding, My Butt Has a Fever.
I'm sorry, your what has a where?
It's a Bob's Burger short called My Butt Has a Fever. It's about 6 minutes long. It's a new Bob's Burger short that they put on TV. Maybe they'll put it on YouTube because a lot of the shorts are on YouTube. But oh my God, it is really, really funny.
I don't know where to go at this moment.
So if you want to give yourself a laugh and get away from the news of the week, watch My Butt Has a Fever. You know another thing you can watch? And I promised to talk about the last episode, and we can talk about it now because it's been almost a month, and it's going to start streaming on June 22nd. Doctor Strange, y'all. Yes, I did see the movie.
Okay, I did get to see Doctor Strange with her. Marble blurred.
Yes. The movie was great, by the way. And you know the great thing about the movie? Well, first of all, let me just pat myself on the back. Because we were able to see this movie, and I didn't like shake you every 5 minutes telling what's on screen. See, that's growth.
That is growth. Because she usually has to sit in the corner and explain to me every single article of what, or every single like little tie that comes in. I'm
exactly like that's Mr. Fent. Okay, I'm not going to give it away. Well, look, it's been a month. Y'all know who it is.
Spoiler. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for all of this.
Allegedly.
So I love the movie because it was a wonderful way to kind of tie in several properties. So WandaVision fed directly into this. What If fed into this too with the character of Captain Carter. So it's kind of Marvel television and Marvel movies have always existed. But I think now with the current iteration, they've done a really great job to tie both the TV shows and the movies together so they make sense, which in ways that they haven't done it before. So, for example, if you're a fan of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., it used to be canon and now it's not canon, and I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not going to get into the weeds because I know not everyone watches it.
Yes, I'm going to give you because me, being the Marvel dum-dum, the way that the Goober has explained this to me was almost like the little serial-centric circles and or the sandboxes.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here okay.
Long story short, there are different sandboxes. And we move things from one sandbox to the big sandbox where it has the MCU. And so they've done a better job of joining the sandboxes together. And that's all I'm going to say. But I have to say, I love this movie not only from the aspect of the storytelling, but I've always been a big Sam Raimi fan. Big Daddy can tell you that if you think I'm obnoxious talking about Marvel, the one movie that drives you insane that I lose my shit for is Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Remember that one time we were at Shula, what was it? Shuma's Pizza? Or no, Burger. Zuma's.
Oh, Kuma's Burgers.
Kuma's Burgers, yes.
Kuma's Corner.
We waited an hour and a half to get into Kuma's Corner, which is this fabulous burger place in Chicago. I was excited not only for getting my first Kuma's Burger, but because also they were playing Army of Darkness on the big screen in front of us, we ate at the counter. And I made friends with the people around me because we were all quoting Army of Darkness and you were putting your head down like you didn't know us.
Yeah, I'm just but that's cool because I had a burger in front of me, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna munch on this burger and act right. But at the same time, it's not like I haven't seen Army of Darkness because Lord knows
Your ex roommate.
Yeah, my ex roommate kind of looked like what was Bruce Campbell's character?
Gosh, what can I think?
See, this is where I mess up, but yeah, thank you,
Ash. His name is Ash. So anyway, if you are a big Sam Raimi fan, it has a lot of the Sam Raimi kind of the comedic horror moments. I know a lot of people have complained, particularly if you're parents, about the level of violence that's in the movie. Honestly, okay. I don't think it's that bad. But then again, I grew up watching horror, so my skew of horror is a little different.
The parents were afraid. I'm sorry, they were like concerned about what again?
Well, there's a lot of parents who are concerned about the level of violence that's in this movie because it's a Marvel movie.
But was it not a PG-13 movie?
Well, yeah. And a lot of people were saying that this should have been rated R because of the brutal way that she killed them. But dude, I grew up in Poltergeist and people pulling off their faces, so this is nothing. we were children when gremlins were out and killing people over a Christmas movie. So honestly, this is sort of a cuddly Care Bear movie by Sam Raimi by comparison.
Okay.
But it is a little intense, but it has a lot of the key Sam Raimi moments as far as the character design, the comedic horror moments. There are some brutal scenes.
But not that bad.
Bruce Campbell's in it. The Captain Carter scene and what happened to her.
Allegedly. I'm not spoiling it for everybody.
No. We already said spoiler alert.
Okay.
Bruce Campbell. That's not a spoiler. Bruce Campbell's in every one of his movies.
Okay.
So yeah, that was awesome. And yeah, loved it. So super psyched about that. And of course, Miss Marvel comes out this week too. Woohoo, by the time this podcast comes out. So that gives me joy.
And I am glad that it gives you joy.
Yeah, because we need joy.
Joy to be near you.
So I tell you what, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Before we go to break?
Yeah, because I know this is a really long segment, but I think we need to get that out for chess.
Okay. I don't have anything like pending for me, but I will say before we go to break, seriously, for the people out there, I know you're not like big WNBA fans.
Oh yeah,
but you're all Americans.
Yes.
So I would like to say, y'all fans of basketball. Let's say
we need to bring home Brittany Griner.
Yes, WNBA player Brittany Griner is currently incarcerated, as what they say, in the land of Russia.
For over 100 days.
For over 100 days. She's been there for a while being held on charges of that we don't quite know all the ramifications of, but they seem pretty minor for the reasons that they're holding her. But I don't live in Russia, so I'm not going to explain.
They say it's trumped up charges, but...
Yeah.
But she's a Black woman, she's a queer woman, both of which puts her in danger, unfortunately, in Russia, because particularly with the LGBTQ community, harassment is sort of a state thing in Russia. So many people, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but many people are worried about her safety right now. So thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah, and the reason I'm doing that is because it bears repeating over and over and over again, because the news cycle is a fickle beast. And that, today we could worry about Brittany, tomorrow it could be something else. It could be inflation we could be talking about. But more importantly, let's just say every single day that I'm, here, like, talking to you, I want you to understand. I don't know if you are a fan of Brittany Griner or you know about Brittany Griner, but she is one of you, and that she deserves to be, able to come home and be with her family, her friends, her teammates. Bring Brittany home. That's just all I'm gonna say.
There, just so you know, the WNBA and the NBA Players Association both are asking people to bring attention to Brittany's plight. Um, there's many who are believing, unfortunately, that she's being held and tied into what's going on in Ukraine as a way of lording it over the United States. And so they're encouraging people to, as you say, keep her in the news cycle
Right.
by signing a petition. I've already signed it.
I have.
And I'm going to put a link to the petition in the show notes, and we will keep it in the show notes every episode until Brittany comes home. So we ask that you please sign the petition, please share it with others, and let's help bring this incredible basketball player home. I mean, I think there would be more attention to it if it was like, I mean, Brittany, if you don't watch the WNBA like I do, it's hard to quantify in the words how incredible Brittany Griner is as a player. She is just amazing.
And as she is as an American and as a human spirit.
And she does so much for the community, but that doesn't even matter. She just deserves to be brought home. So please sign the petition, please share it. And we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will have 3 stories. I promise it will not have anything to do with what we talked about in the first segment that cover the intersection of food and pop culture. You're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober, and I'm here to share this great new recipe journal from author Gaby Loreno. It's a progressive cooking journal designed for short and simple recipes at the beginning, before advancing with spaces for longer recipes as you go. It's colorful, fun, fits easily in the kitchen drawer, and it's perfect for any home cook. Best of all, it has over 100 pages for your most beloved culinary delights. Be sure to get your copy today at Amazon.com. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, it's T Outlaw.
And we are back with the second segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast. The segment that we affectionately call What's Eating Us, where we talk about 3 stories that meet the intersection of food and pop culture. And these 3 soldiers. These 3 stories, say that 5 times fast, definitely meet that criteria. Although I want to apologize for everyone in advance because we record in our house at our dining room table as of right now because we're still looking for a better place to record with better acoustics. And the reason why I'm volunteering that information is that we either have what's going to be a meeting of the minds in terms of a peace treaty, or it may break out an all-out thermonuclear war.
Are you talking about the East Coast, West Coast that's underneath the table?
Yes. So let me explain. We have 2 cats, for those of you who might not regularly listen to the show.
Or care.
And we have 1 dog who we affectionately call our doggy producer, Braxton. So ever since we brought Braxton home, our cats, from the time they were kittens, were raised around a dog. And then unfortunately the dog died. And after some time, we replaced them with a new pet. So we thought, oh my gosh, they'll get along, right? They know dogs. Nah, they can't be bothered with Braxton. They do not like him in the least. And that is, of course, until about, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's about right.
When they started making their way out of the room that they usually hide from the dog from And they decide that, you know what, this is our house too. We're not hiding from the dog anymore. We're just going to make this our space. So cat number one, the oldest of the two, doesn't want to be bothered with it. Cat number two gives no fucks. So he'll regularly sleep in the chair. He sat next to T on the couch with the dog on the other side of T watching a game. So usually they can get along with some kind of ebony and ivory type harmony.
No.
Well, I would say about 60% of the time.
No, there's no 60% of the time. Yeah, like if they're in two different spaces, like in the same room, yes. But if they're close to each other, yeah, it's almost like doggy death or pet death row up in here.
Well, the thing is, the cat has been known to slap the dog if he gets tired of him. But right now, they're both chilling quietly underneath the table.
For right now.
So we're excited that maybe this is like a new stage in their relationship, or worried that we're going to get talking and then something's going to rumble. So if you hear the, oh my God, reach for the mic, you'll understand that what happened is they realize that they have been sitting peacefully next to each other underneath the table, and that cannot stand. You know, sort of like that scene from Ghostbusters, dogs and cats.
Yeah, living together in harmony.
Total anarchy.
That's not gonna.
Yeah, it's like that line from Bill Murray. So we're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible before the war breaks out. Okay. And I don't take that word lightly, but yeah, when they scrap, they scrap. So the first story in our segment is actually something that Big Daddy made me promise not to sing about.
Oh, dear Lord. That story.
So the story is that there is going to be in Beverly Hills, beginning this July, a Golden Girl themed pop-up restaurant. Yes.
A Golden Girls themed restaurant.
Yes.
How?
So it's going to be a fully functioning restaurant and bar that transports guests from the moment they walk through the doors, and it's going to fully recreate the main setting from the Golden Girls. So the restaurant, the experience, which will cost about $50 a pot, but you'll get reserved seating, a choice of entree, and of course cheesecake, because it cannot be a girl restaurant without cheesecake, right? You'll be able to also have items such as Sophia's lasagna, either with meat or vegan, the Dorothy, which they call it a Miami style sandwich, so I'm guessing it's probably a Cuban, right?
Like a salad cubano sandwich,
right?
Is it from Fernandez the Bull Cafe?
I'm not sure of that.
Going the Little Ricky Ricardo sandwich.
What are you talking
it's
like
horrible.
that?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Whatever. We don't know what it's just a Dorothy Spornak. It might be just dried toast.
And of course, Blanche Georgia style cookies, which I imagine would have some type of peach. They also will serve a full beverage menu, which will have drinks like the Tea Arthur. I love that.
Okay.
And Rose on Rosé.
Yeah, I was wondering, does Rose get a sandwich or some kind of savory meal?
I'm thinking Rose would probably get ice cream or something since she was raised on a dairy farm.
Oh, okay. Like a St. Olaf style ice cream. Okay.
So the great thing is that they say the key to the experience is that you'll have Instagram-worthy photos that come with it. So you'll be able to actually be at their kitchen table. You'll be able to sit on the lanai or even take a selfie in front of the palm. How awesome is that? And they said that you could actually walk through Shady Pines on the way to the pop-up store. so I can go with you and threaten to take you to Shady Fries.
Oh my goodness. All right, so bear with me. What's the lanai?
It's the lanai. It's that place that they sat outside. Remember? I am shocked at all the times you've watched the Golden Girls. You are not familiar with the lanai. It's like their little space that they sat outside in.
So it's like what again? Like a porch?
Really? Really?
I'm just asking.
Are you confused? Or you're kidding with me?
No, but if you would follow the actual promo, yes, a lanai
It's a type of porch, yes.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Crystal Carrington. That was the follow-up line in the show.
You really were waiting to do that,
I was
weren't you?
so like I was waiting for you to like serve me up, and you just couldn't serve it. Like you couldn't give me that Serena Williams like serve. I am just
See this for that.
I thought she was a Golden Girls fan. Oh, and then she
went what?
Flat on me.
Just for that, I'm gonna sing the theme song. Like,
no, you're not. No, you're not.
I was walking around the house when I read this.
Oh no, you're
not. When we
not.
were going through, I was like, "Oh my god, can I sing the theme song?" No.
If I can't sing Ricky Ricardo songs, you cannot sing the Golden Girls right now.
Okay, first of all, there is no comparison. Okay. Second of all, dude, it's the Golden Girls theme song. You know it's going to be playing when you get there.
I'm sure it will. And until it gets there, until we get there, no. Can't do it.
Well, according to Food and Wine, where we first heard of this story, the tickets are not available yet, but the event is listed on something that's called the Bucket Listers website, where you can actually join a waiting list for the notification of where they go on sale. So I personally would love to take advantage of it.
Okay.
And you can do dine in, or you can order out for local delivery if you are in fact in the area. So the guy who does it, I guess his name is Derek Berry. He also did other pop-ups in the past, such as the Peach Pit pop-up from
210.
He did the pop-up restaurant tied to Saved by the Bell.
So like
the Max.
Oh, the Max. You're right.
Yeah. And then he also did a restaurant themed around Breaking Bad. The Saved by the Bell one was actually so popular it came to Chicago. And it traveled around the rest of the country. So I remember that one distinctly.
Good for them.
So what do you say? Are you excited about the Golden Girls theme restaurant? And if not, what classic TV show do you think they should do a restaurant for yet? Although I think I know. You would probably say The Facts of Life or Different Strokes, right? For Mrs. Garrett's cooking?
No. Well, okay. I mean, it would be nice to revisit it, but there's nothing like, that just constrains me. Like, is there like a big following for The Facts of Life? Like in terms of a restaurant?
Well, no, they haven't been a pop-up restaurant yet, but they should be. I mean, think about it. They could have their surfers on skates, like Tootie. Come on, that would be fun.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember.
It would be amazing.
I'm trying to remember in the latter years of The Facts of Life, like what kind of store Mrs. Garrett actually opened.
They opened some kind of deli, I think.
Okay.
See, it would have worked. It would have worked.
I don't know, like maybe a Seinfeld related, like soup kitchen. Do I already have that?
I think they're actually opening up a Seinfeld.
I guess there's like a bit like a real one somewhere. Yes. Would I visit the Golden Girls Cafe? Of course. I try it once or twice just to see what the food is like. But in terms of like a a restaurant like I would love to have a restaurant inside Jefferson Cleaners. I know that it would
A
like
Jefferson's restaurant.
yes,
What would they serve?
Florence Johnson style cooking.
What recipes would they serve?
I'm sure there's some George Jefferson like they would have like sandwiches with like with the kind of hairstyle. They could do like the slop sandwiches. The Louise Jefferson style cooking. Oh wait a minute, the Tom and Helen Willis. Well, okay, I'm not gonna go that deep because I'm gonna make it sound like stereotypical. Oh wait a minute, you gotta have the Lionel. The Lionel's gotta be hot.
Okay, you know what? I don't even want to know what the Lionel is. Hey. I'm not going to ask you, but that would be an interesting restaurant. You know what? I can't imagine. Like, I know what restaurant would not be a good, what television show would not be a good restaurant. Like, I wouldn't eat an Alf restaurant.
Yeah, you're right. I would not eat an Alf style restaurant.
You'd have to wonder if, like, the sandwiches are made of cat.
Ah, yes.
I don't know. You know what? Have there been a Bob's Burgers themed restaurant? Because if not, they should be.
Yeah, I thought that was automatic since it's Bob's Burgers. I'm almost anticipating that's going to come.
Just nothing but burgers of the day.
Yeah,
that would be fabulous. And we know they don't serve sweet potato fries because there famously was an episode of Bob's Burgers where he was pissed that sweet potato fries actually was a thing. So we know that. I'm having a difficult time thinking of what classic television show I would want to be as a restaurant.
No, I'm sure if we really sat down and thought about it, I'm sure there are plenty good restaurant style. Wait a minute. What about the? What about the? What was it? The Karen, Kate, and Koji style.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I have gone through like this kick where I'm like obsessed with the streaming service BritBox. So BritBox, if you've not heard of it, it's a streaming service put together by two broadcasting companies out of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. So the BBC, which everyone's heard of, and then ITV. And there is a sitcom that I've been watching that I actually just finished binging both seasons. It's called Kate and Koji. And the whole premise is Kate is this like curmudgeon of an older woman who lives in an area outside of Essex in Great Britain. And she runs this cafe that used to be run by her mom. And Koji is a gentleman who is seeking asylum in the United Kingdom from his home country. And while he's seeking asylum, he's not allowed to work, right? But in his home country, he is a very well-respected doctor. So he and Kate make an agreement where he will not, quote unquote, give out medical advice to the people at the diner in exchange for free food from Kate. Now, I have to say, some of the stuff that they have on there, you're right, that would make actually a really good restaurant, except for the beans on toast. I still don't understand the British fascination with beans on toast. So we have a lot of international listeners. So if you guys are listening, or you can get back, first of all, to the people from Kate and Koji, because I love that show. I'm addicted. I'm actually sad I'm out of episodes. And now I'm looking for stuff to stream. But yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Some of that restaurant would be really good, I think.
Yeah, that would be good. Otherwise, let me think. I had one on top of my... Okay, wait a minute. I've always had this concept, and I'm not trying to introduce something that, shouldn't be introduced, but I would like to introduce a pop-up restaurant based upon Abbott Elementary. Like cafeteria, like school cafeteria food from Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary?
Yes.
Huh. I hadn't thought of that. Although, no offense, cafeteria food is not my favorite thing. So
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it never wasn't for me in like junior high and high
you
school.
just want an excuse to get this. Big Daddy likes the square pizzas that you used to get in the cafeteria. He talked about that all the time. You just want the square pizza you can only find in school cafeteria.
Okay, and what's wrong with that?
That's the only thing you want.
Yeah.
I have no idea what just happened. I'm so sorry, you guys are listening. Oh my god.
We're rocking now. See, that could be the music playing in the background of the restaurant.
Oh, my new computer's possessed. So anyway, one thing that you know what? Isn't Abbott Elementary set in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay, I will do that. Let's do that as long as we have Philly cheesesteaks served there and real Philly cheese. In my opinion, the only real Philly that comes with like the Velveeta cheese sauce.
Oh, the cheese whiz?
The cheese whiz, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that I think you might be onto something. So I will co-sign on that. You can have your basic school pizza. I can have the cheese whiz. And speaking of cheese, that does lead to our second story. So how many of you out there love cheese? I mean, really, really love cheese, right? If you could see Big Daddy is so horrified by this next story. Because if you're like me and obsessed with cheese, and particularly if you like Velveeta cheese, then I got something just for you in the second story. So, according to Food and Wine, starting today, as a matter of fact, when this podcast comes out, you can order the latest collaboration from Nails Inc. and Velveeta. That's right, people. There's a limited time nail polish duo that gives you everything you want. If you ever wanted your fingertips to smell and look like cheese. So it's called the Velveeta Pinkies Out Polish Collection. Big Daddy's horrified by this. It is a duo of nail polish that comes in two, as they say, summer-worthy colors. A deep yellow called La Dolce Vita and a bright red called Finger Food. The two polish sets, you can get it for $15, and right now it's available on the Nails Inc. website. Of course, we will put links of that on our show notes. They are cruelty free, they're vegan, and they both smell like cheese. So, if you ever wanted to take advantage of that, now your fingertips, you could actually wear your love of Velveeta. And get this. You can also get, for an additional $4.99, a set of stickers, and you can get them from Amazon.com. And it looks like little cheese nail decals. So your fingers can look like they have actual dripping cheese off of them. Oh my god! I have to say this. It takes a lot to shock Big Daddy into being speechless, but right now he is utterly speechless. All right, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, baby, if I don't know, decide to rock nail polish featuring this fabulous new thing. Because I've started growing out my nails. Finally, started doing the nail polish thing from time to time.
Okay, I would like to believe that women have their own, privilege. You can rock whatever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's completely up to, women, their individual style. As a man, do you? But me personally, I'm calling this whole thing trash.
Oh, come on.
no, no. It when y'all had like the where you scratch and snip and whatever type. Okay, that was cute for all of like a minute, but there comes this point where you want to put on something that because for it to stick on your hands, it's got to be with some acetone or whatever that be on your hand. But yeah, you're like putting this thing on and it smells like cheese. Okay, which is good for all of a minute, but then there comes this point where cheese doesn't always smell good, and anything your hand interacts with is now going to interact with that cheese smell. So, as does, unless you thoroughly wash your hands throughout the entire process,
But
this whole thing is going to stink.
your hands are always going to smell like the cheese as long as you wear the polish on it.
No, it won't. It's going to smell like cheese and ass. It's going to smell like cheese and bad buttered toast. It's going to smell like cheese and like, I don't know, like ranch dressing. It's going to smell like funk after about an hour. This is a bad idea from the start because even after a day or so, that cheese smell is either going to wear off or it's going to come in contact with anything else that your hands come in contact with, like, I don't know, garlic, and it's just going to stink.
Okay. Um, I think you've upset the cat because the dog is right here.
Like little doggy Suge Knight.
The dog is looking at us. Incidentally, I think the dog would like it to smell like cheese because he likes cheese.
Yes.
I will be the most popular person in the house if my fingertips smell like cheese. That said, I think you've destroyed it forever now, talking about how your hands will smell like cheese and ass. Thank you for that.
That's just my, my
I can't
PSA.
with you.
Nothing good can come from this, like, little concoction.
Oh my god.
If you walk around with that for an hour, that's that's on you. That's fine. But after that, that initial touch or coating, nothing good is going. It's kind of like when you drive a car off the lot. After the first few minutes of driving off the lot, putting this on your hands or whatever, it's not going to smell good after a while. Just even in air, it's just the funk will roll. And it will not be pleasant for anybody you interact with.
Well, here's the thing. Eventually, I mean, isn't there like something that happens with people where if you smell a scent for so long, you no longer smell it, right? So technically, the cheesy effect should last, what, maybe about 10, 15 minutes tops, and then you don't smell anymore? So it wouldn't be bothering you, but I guess everyone else around you.
Yes, everyone else around you is going to be like, who's walking in here? Like, literally, you hand them a piece of paper and you're like, or a piece of mail, and you're like, why does your hand smell like burnt Velveeta?
That does bring up a good point. I don't think this is, if you happen to like work in a space, it's probably not a good idea to wear this to the office.
You can't wear that out on a date.
I don't know what. You know what? What if your girl really likes the cheese? What if she's like a Rose Nyland? I bet that thing is like catnip.
The only no,
it's better than Axe body spray. Velveeta nail polish cheese.
Yeah, think about that. You have a guy with Axe and a woman with Velveeta nail polish interacting. I wouldn't want to be like within a mile of that couple. That'd be a horrible date. It would just be like funk and Axe all over. That would be the worst. That would be like some kind of weird Jersey Shore type hookup.
And on that note, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like like a Snooki date.
There's no reason to bring her into this. So Big Daddy, yes, we're making all sorts of different background noise. Big Daddy is not a fan.
No, I'm
Okay.
not. You want anything else? Because I'll go deeper, and it could get more, it could get nastier. But I'm
Okay,
just saying, I'm
let's
just
not
not a
do
fan.
this. So, if you are so intrigued that you would like to try this yourself, even with the cheese and ass warning that Big Daddy gave, like I said, I will have the links in the show notes. So hopefully that will be something that may entertain you, especially considering the last story may not give you so much joy, other than the hilarity that will naturally ensue if you show up to work or on a date with your fingertips smelling of cheese. And that is a warning that people in the food industry is putting out, particularly those involved with like movie theaters, grocery stores, basically anybody who deals with popcorn. So, oh crap, this may even affect Garrett.
I'm clutching pearls right now.
So, not long ago, peeps, when the pandemic had movie theaters closed, right? America had what was essentially a popcorn surplus, right? Because think about it, farmers every year anticipate how much popcorn to make based on, you know, what they anticipate would be a huge buying season in the summer. Now, movie theaters are coming back open with like Doctor Strange, Thor's coming out, Top Gun Maverick just came out over Memorial Day. And so people are going back to the stores or the theaters as they become vaccinated. Well, there's only one problem with that. They're projecting, according to the Wall Street Journal, what will be a popcorn shortage. That's right. So, what they're anticipating, and it comes from a variety of factors, from a lack of truckers available to transport the kernels, supply chain issues with the lining that protects the popcorn bags, even increased fertilizer costs with rising inflation. All of those are coming together for what they anticipate to be a tightening of the popcorn supply. In fact, this article actually shared a recent interview that Ryan Rinke, he is the director of operations and technology for a theater out of Connecticut. He explains that, a few months ago, it was hard to get the canola oil even for the popcorn. And then there was a problem with the containers for the popcorn because they don't have the glue in order to close the box that the oil came in. And then, of course, that affected the containers and manufacturing those. And so, right now, they're anticipating that there will be a big shortage. Maybe when you go to your local theater this summer to see the next blockbuster, maybe popcorn may not be what's available for you to eat.
Okay, right now, I am holding myself back. I want to respond, but I don't want to respond in a way which will make the audience think that I am a stark, raving mad, Lewis Black style, individual who is unhinged.
Big
But
Daddy really likes popcorn.
yes, I love popcorn. Popcorn loves me. This belly I have here was built on the back of popcorn.
And other things too.
No, basically on popcorn and Diet Coke or Pepsi or whatever. But nonetheless, no, I'm calling BS from the start. I think this is not so much an issue of, oh, we have, a surplus and now we have a shortage because people in order. This is called A, I know I failed a business class in college, but
So I think that's what he's about to say with a grain of salt.
yes, at the same time, go for a surplus to, you know, a a constriction or a restriction, and you say to yourself, how did that happen? No, it's called bad business management. How long does like popcorn stay in a tin, like uncooked popcorn? If you keep it in a bag and recess it, you can hold it for a while.
Okay. Well, that's true. Popcorn can get rancid, so I do know that.
Yes, popcorn.
Don't ask me how I know.
Like okay, popcorn in a yeah. I get some of the part about hi microwave popcorn in this preservative state. Yes, it can be in a space where yeah it can go bad after a couple months up to 6 months whatever. That being said, for the movie theaters and or like the people who use air pops, yes, if you put it in a sealed bag unpopped for a while, it should last.
Well, yes and no. I mean, here's the thing, and I just looked it up.
Okay.
So, popcorn holds its moisture for about 6 to 12 months. And once the kernels go stale, the unpopped kernels can dry out. And so the texture won't be as fluffy. And instead of a crunch, you'll have kind of like a soft chew to it.
Throw some butter on it. We can call it. We don't need all that.
So you're just like, you don't care.
No, I don't care.
Because odds are they probably did go stale in the pandemic. Because think about it, how long during the pandemic did it take us to go to the theater? Like, do you remember the first movie that we went to the theater to go see out of the pandemic?
I believe it was Black Widow.
Okay, it was. So the pandemic was out for over a year, right?
Yeah.
So this popcorn was sitting for over a year's time. And then eventually they had to get fresh service in. But, and again, this is partially because of the fact that I grew up where I grew up. And even though, no, I did not grow up on a farm, 4-H was a thing where I lived. So I know way more than I possibly should. So understanding how far in advance they project their growth cycles, they probably way cut down on their production of the maize that they use to turn into popcorn because of that. And that's what led to the shortage. And you're like, you don't care.
No, I don't care. No. You knew what was coming. If you are open for business, you had time to make better business decisions. We can put a man on the moon, but we can't put popcorn into theaters and get it going. Like, I understand, okay, the canola oil might be a restriction. Okay, use some truffle oil, use some vegetable oil. I don't give a damn. Okay, you got some, we don't have truckers deliver it. Damn, I don't care if like you got some old grannies with some packages. I'm bringing in. Make better business decisions. I don't care if you we can use like things on cell phones. Like, can we like transport popcorn via that way?
Okay.
We can have that Uber eat it, over.
So let's try to calm down.
No, there's no calming down. Didn't you also tell me it was like there could be a shortage of like, other things at the movie theater that could be restricted to, like the candy and or like certain foods?
Right. They're also talking that there might be a shortage of candy. So if you're out there like me that likes to non-pearl the snow caps, they may run out of that, dude.
No, there's going to be no running out. You know what this is going to turn into? I need for all you movie theaters, if y'all going to say, we're running low on whatever, then you're going to see a lot of brothers and sisters coming in with purses and or jackets. You're going to have, like, as long as you got aunties with purses, you're going to start seeing people coming in with, like, chicken and some, like, they're going to be like, why does your jacket smell like Mexican food?
First of all, We established that all of our listeners are in the community. Don't be ratting us out now with the aunties coming into the theater with the big purse. Y'all don't need to know what's in that purse.
They'll be like, man, why does your purse smell like curry? They'll be like, it smells like chicken curry.
It's
and
like, wait, is she bringing out tikka masala? Yeah, I haven't. Mind your business.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you'd be like, wait a minute. It smells like chicken and ass in here.
Where is the ass from?
From the Velveeta nail polish. Because women will be weighing this stuff. But yes, I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to open up that restriction on things that we can bring into the theaters. Because I'm like, oh, you're going to have restrictions? Guess what? We will come with our own surpluses. We will be bringing in our own, like having pizzas delivered to us at the theater. And or other things. They'll be like, oh, we have an Uber Eats delivery going. But at the same time, yeah, you're gonna restrict my popcorn. Oh no, that's like restricting my gears. Oh no, I will be walking into a theater watching a movie, socially distanced, with my food. Oh no, there will be no restriction. And yeah, for all you business people that are saying, oh, this is a restriction. Oh, this is a shortage. Make no mistake. You are making bad decisions. You are doing horrible things. And I'm like, that's your problem, not mine. So if you want us to, to enjoy your movies and or for y'all to bring us the people that make the popcorn, like the Overredenbachers, the Pop Secrets, who are, all the different popcorn makers, get on your grind. Find a way. Make it happen. Don't come with me like your shortage. You just trying to make money hand over fist. Yeah, I know the gas prices are high, but so damn it, Uber Eats.
So you think this is a way for them to boost up the price?
Yes. Popcorn's already high in the theater.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, in case you're thinking about that, and I know that we had talked about this on the show before, but BuzzFeed a couple years ago helpfully shared a list of truly insane things that people have snuck into the movie theater. So, if you're worried that you're going to be out of popcorn, here's some suggestions.
Okay.
Number one, they have a picture of these women who brought in, and they literally said this, so I'm not swearing, a whole ass watermelon.
I'm impressed. Okay.
Someone brought in a baguette, an entire cheesecake. Okay, whoever did this, I'm sorry. Not that you would be invited to the cookout, but you were really not invited to the cookout for this. Someone brought a literal can of SpaghettiOs. Uncooked SpaghettiOs. No.
Uncooked spaghetti. Okay.
Someone brought an entire tray of cinnamon rolls.
Okay. Hey, and your movie theater smell like cinnamon rolls? Okay, I co-sign.
A tub of guacamole.
Were they celebrating Cinco de Mayo?
I don't know. Now see, I like this. Someone brought some mint chocolate chip ice cream in a plastic bag. And the bag was in another bag of ice to keep it cold. They're the real MVPs here.
There's goals behind that. I like it.
Someone probably brought in some chicken wings.
Of course.
Lunchables. Sushi. I was not aware you could do that. A crunch wrap supreme. A baked potato. These are all amateurs here.
They are?
Look, okay.
These are people with
the exception of the watermelon.
Yeah.
All of you guys are amateurs right here. Because, again, I grew up in a very large family where going to the drive-in theater was a thing. My mom was... okay, let me just say that please, if you know my mother, don't let this get back to her because she has said many times for us to not talk about her.
Don't put your name out
on the podcast. But my mom, back in the day when we used to hit the drive-in theater, Ooh, my mom would bring like whole meals. She would cook like whole meals for us to go. Seriously.
Yeah, I get the feeling your mom would bring like whole things of pork chops and or like rice and salads and
We would have a big look. We brought so much food to the drive-in for years. I didn't know they had a concession stand, and I didn't know it was illegal to not bring food into the drive-in. I thought everybody did it. One time I found out because one time we went to the drive-in to see a movie. We were at the Tibbs Drive-in in Indianapolis, and you know how they like go from car to car to check and make sure that you're not doing anything illicit like selling drugs or having sex or whatever in the car. It's your car, you can do whatever you want, I think, but they don't agree. So the person, it was in between shows, because usually when you go to drive-in theater, there are two movies that you get to see, right? So they still actually play the let's go on to the movies and the dancing food, but the guy showed the flashlight, and we're in the back just getting our lives, eating sandwiches and drinking Capri Suns. And the guy gave us a dirty look, and my mom gave one right back. So they left, and we asked Dad, why was he angry? And Dad looks at Mom, oh, because we're not supposed to be eating this food. We're supposed to be getting food from the concession stand. And we're like, they have concession food? And Daddy pointed to the dancing, let's go on to the movies, the dancing popcorn and stuff.
Okay.
And he's like, what do you think that's for? We just thought that was just a commercial break in time. We didn't actually know that was telling us to go to the concession stand.
Lord. You think, okay, you want to go there? All right.
No.
Okay. I could do one better. Like over in Griffith, when Griffith was open, like we would go there from time to time, and like I definitely remember like going to a theater, like back when I was in high school, and we were sitting there, and like for some reason, like I dropped my keys, just before like I was leaving, and when I went to retrieve my keys underneath the seat, like there was a whole bunch of from like the people that were sitting in front of us. There was a whole bunch of like barbecue rib bones on the floor. And I was like,
in the theater?
Yes. In the theater. Closed theater. Not open. Yeah. And I was like, well, why did I not think of that? But no, I've never brought like straight up like, barbecue ribs up in the theater. But I guess if you can sneak them in, more power to you.
Well, okay. We did have ribs at the drive-in. And we went to the normal theater too, but the drive-in was cheaper if you have like a large family like we did, because you get a whole carload of people.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I know drive-ins aren't really popular anymore, but dude, if you have drive-ins, you can avoid this whole popcorn mess. Just don't be as obvious as we were flaunting the fact that we weren't going to go to your sorry ass concession stand. We brought our own.
But yeah, for the people, telling us like there's gonna be a shortage of popcorn and candy. Oh, make no mistake, I don't like you. Don't think you're gonna get over on me and jack up your prices. No, sir. That will not be occurring.
So, as we close out this segment, this is just a warning to our listeners in Chicagoland. If you happen to hear, somebody going a little apeshit at the concession stand because he can't get his popcorn while we during a showing of Thor Love and Thunder, just know it's Big Daddy.
They're gonna be like, why is this man walking in with this big old big old can, like, tin of Garrett's popcorn? That's gonna be me.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. Mind your business.
Don't be that person and be nosy and ask. Mind your business.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, come talk to me about that. I'm gonna be like Will Smith at the Oscars. You're gonna be like, keep my popcorn's name out your effing mouth. Mind your business.
So on that note, why don't we close out the segment and then we'll return with our review of the best thing we ate this week. I'm sorry. You're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We'll be right back. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober, and I'm here to share something super exciting that the Gourmet Goober is launching its first newsletter, appropriately called Gooberland. So it'll launch this fall, and inside the newsletter you'll get access to interviews, recipes, and other exclusive content. So sign up now. You can do so using the link in the show notes. You can also go to thegorbygoober.com and sign up there as well. So hopefully you'll join us and be a part of Gooberland. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Emily.
And we're the hosts of A Dark Cup of History, a spin-off series to our regular podcast, A Nice Cup of History, where we dive headfirst into the weird and paranormal aspects of the world we all live in.
If you want to know your woman in red from your woman in white, or precautions to take against demonic dolls, and just where to go to find black shuck on a moonlit night, why not give us a listen?
Together we talk about the dark, creepy, and downright terrifying parts of our history and folklore, as well as what you should do if you ever encounter any of them.
Interested? Come and find us on Buzzsprout, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere else you'll get your podcasts.
So turn on the lights, grab a blanket and some rock salt,
and let's get dark.
And we are back with the third segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast. This is JJ Outlaw, of course. I'm here with
T Outlaw.
And we are going to discuss probably one of our favorite segments of the show. That is the best thing we ate this week. And that's where we share recipes, restaurants, holes in walls, and everything in between, where we got some good grub and we tell you where to get it. So, as always, we put that information in the show notes so that you too can enjoy some good food, because life is too short to not have good food. So, as always, we begin this segment with Big Daddy, and I'm almost dreading what you have to say.
I kind of am too.
I give you the floor.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to formally announce an apology. Not so much for an error, but more an error in judgment. I was prejudiced. I was doing a lot of clowning, and I made fun of a certain fast food restaurant. I may have said some things that may have been kind of harsh about their food, but Goober at one point,
leave me out of this.
Yeah, once brought this to my attention. Said, "Hey, you know that this restaurant, that restaurant being Arby's, the one that has the meats,
oh God,
has a sandwich, and that sandwich was, of all things, a burger,
which they're not known for.
Which they are not known for. Roast beef, yeah. Chicken, yeah. Everything else under the sun they can make, yeah. It's almost like going to a Greek restaurant. Be like, you show up, Arby said, we'll try to make it. Not well, but we'll try to make it." But so they said they were coming out with a burger. And I said, ha ha, there are plenty of people that have come out with burgers. There are plenty of joints, a lot of burger joints.
Not just a burger, a Wagyu beef burger.
A Wagyu beef burger.
Right, a steak burger.
Which, once again, I was like, really? Really, bro? Wait a minute, do you have Bing Rames saying, hey, we're gonna throw some on the wall and see if it sticks? First of all, Wagyu beef, that's a pretty excellent cut of meat.
And hella expensive.
And yes, very expensive. So I was like, I don't know about that. But I said, you know what? I don't know how I feel about trying it. So I was like, at first, I'm like, I'm not worried about it. I got a lot of other places in the world that's going to make burgers, especially good, tasty steak burgers. But one day the Goober said, you know, we'll try it just to see how it goes because it's Wagyu beef. I'm like, we wanted to see what came of it. So she picked it up. She brought it home, and this was like on the second try of of our rounds because you usually go to Arby's. You're like, you pretty much go to Arby's when like the lines at Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, Sonic. You could go find a burger place, and they'll be like, if the lines along there, or a Wingstop or something, like, well, where else you want to go? Well, I guess we gotta go to Arby's.
It's like
Okay,
this tagline is, I guess.
I guess. Like, okay, we're gonna hit that. So at a certain point, we just gotta say, well, I guess we can try the Arby's burger, see how it tastes. And we tasted it, and I gotta admit, I was absolutely, positively, radiantly shocked. Me, T Outlaw, actually liked their Wagyu steak burger deluxe. I am going to on the air say I think it was the best thing I ate this week in terms of a burger from a restaurant that I very much underestimated. Now, what the Goober will want at a certain point let you know is that she made something this week that was absolutely delectable. But damn it, I needed to come up with something for the best thing I ate this week. So that's what I came up with.
Wait a minute, stop it. So, are you just saying this because you just need to fill a segment, or you honestly felt this way?
Can both things be true? I honestly like what you made, but at the same time, then I need to come up with something. So technically, it's okay. While she's like getting some water, I just had to say yes. Both things can be true. She made an excellent dinner earlier this week, and it probably is the best thing we ate this week. But if there's such a thing as seconds, this was probably one of the best things I ate this week. So that's my answer.
Okay, first of all, I think you just violated the spirit of this segment with what you said.
But damn it, I did it. I gotta live with it, and I'm gonna have to. I have to live the shame of saying this.
Okay.
So I'm going full throated with it.
Okay, first of all, while you're saying this with your chest, let me just remind you, it is not a full Wagyu beef burger.
Okay.
Because that would be hella expensive, right?
True.
So first of all, they advertise as Wagyu beef, but really it's a mixture of Wagyu beef and ground beef. Just to be clear. And we don't know what kind of ground beef it is. It could be just chuck or something. All right. Could be something less than chuck. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just telling you straight up fact. Second of all, I'm a little hurt that you're naming this just so that you can feel your part of the segment. Because again, that takes away for the validity of our choices and then what we present to our audience. That said,
I'm like, what are you, a lawyer now? She's got like binding by the contract.
binding by the audio contract we make with our listeners. We want to make sure that the stuff that we recommend is solid.
It is solid.
So he's standing by his idea that this is the best thing we ate this week. So
the best thing I ate this week.
You ate this week.
Yeah, that's my testimony.
Because I too had one of these burgers. And now, okay, I'm not gonna diss the burger. And I think part of the thing is I had the bacon ranch, which I probably shouldn't have had.
Because you're a ranch snob.
Well, no. I mean, it's not like it's bad ranch or bacon or anything. Honestly, I thought it was too salty for me, but that could just be that combination. Okay. And I think if I had something as simple as a deluxe, I probably would have felt differently. All right, so just to be fair. Secondly, the burger consistency in and of itself is not bad. I mean, in fact, the burger is served medium well.
Yes.
So if you bite into the burger, you'll see some pink. They said that they complete the burger using the sous vide method. And why I love that and I'm impressed with that, I also know enough about fast food dining and fast food preparation that I sincerely doubt that they're really doing sous vide in the middle of the restaurant. Just like they had that like one like time video where you could see the beef smoking for hours on the brisket. I'm gonna need to see them do the sous vide. I don't need to see the setup because I think it came sous vide and maybe they microwaved it. Because sous vide, I mean, it's not a hard preparation process, but I just really wonder if a burger joint is doing that, especially when they're mass producing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So to be fair, those are my questions I have with the burger. That said, it was a tasty burger. Now, was it the best thing I ate this week? I'm going to say no. And if it truly is the best thing you had this week because you felt that way and not just to fill a segment and be contrarian, then I'm cool with that. Because you made it sound like you were just doing it to be contrarian. I'm just like it sounded. This is what it sounded like to me. JJ, I know you made an excellent choice. And I would have chosen that the best thing I ate this week. But I need to fill the segment with something different. Because one thing that you may not know about Big Daddy, when it comes to our eating choices, Big Daddy has this little thing that we cannot eat the same thing. Like, we can't order the same thing out of the restaurant. There has to be something a little different. Otherwise, it bothers him. So I wonder if you knew what I was going to choose as the best thing you ate this week, and you just need to fill that out for your segment.
Once again, both things can be true.
So you're admitting that you are doing it for part of that, but on the other hand, you really like the burger.
Okay. So, for those listening, and for those of you who are in relationships and or married, I'm doing this to save my damn marriage. Because yes, the Goober made an excellent dinner dish that she will speak about. At the same time, to save my ass, I am saying that the second best thing I ate this week is now, at this moment, my choice for the best thing I ate this week to fill this segment. That's it.
Okay, we're not going to go any further with this. That is your choice. And if you can get the burger, I think it's available on the limited time. I'm not even sure if it's available at all Arby's, but as usual, I'll put a link in the show notes. Now, I also want to take this opportunity to say that we usually malign Arby's pretty hard on the show. So, while I cannot recommend their other menu choices for various reasons, the burger is pretty good, decent.
Every once in a while, they
It's
have a
pretty
good
good.
beef and cheddar.
Yeah. The burger is pretty good. So, I will give you that.
Yeah.
So, now with that out of the way, and assuring that we will never get an Arby's sponsorship of any kind, my choice for the best thing we ate this week actually was my shepherd's pie.
I'm sorry. Would you like to repeat that? Because you got to quit laughing to be able to say it.
Well, you ruined it now for everybody.
Hey, I told you what I was going with.
I made a shepherd's pie, right? I've been going through this Anglophile kick, and no, it's not because the Queen is celebrating her platinum jubilee, but because I sincerely am going through this English food kick. And I made a shepherd's pie as opposed to a cottage pie, which, by the way, for those of you who are listening, if you're like me and grew up eating shepherd's pie made with beef, that is actually not a shepherd's pie. That is known as a cottage pie. A shepherd's pie is made with ground lamb.
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 And
I got a really great deal on ground lamb. And I also found, I think it's called Coleman's shepherd's pie. mix, and it was imported from England. And I have Facebook friends, when I do go on Facebook, very rarely, who recommend it, and they said it's kind of like a legit English shepherd's pie in terms of the seasoning. Um, and so I thought, yeah, I've never tried it before. Let me hook this up. And the recipe I used also called for cheese on top of the potatoes. And yeah, I have to say, this is probably the dopest shepherd's pie I've made ever in my life. So,
Okay, if I'm allowed to talk, because once again, a lot of things can be true. Yes, it was. I will testify for the goober, and I will second the motion that the shepherd's pie was very tasty. And as the goober will attest with certain dishes, it was actually technically better almost the second day.
yeah. I don't know why shepherd's pie tastes better the second day. It just does.
Yeah. I mean, it was very rich. The veggies were in there, like really good. The beef was like well connected. I very much like the potato filling with the cheese on top, because I'm not like a huge like heavy like on the cheese type person, but it actually was a nice mix and it kind of came together very nicely.
Yeah.
So I approve of this message.
So I will actually put the recipe on our website, and I will have a link to it. So if you would like to try it yourself, it is relatively easy to make, pretty hearty, and yes, it tastes really great the next day. So best thing I ate this week.
Thank you.
So now that we've maybe horrified our listeners, where can they find you online?
You can find me telling the truth on social media. You can look for me on Twitter at TOutlaw. That's TOUTLAW. And on Instagram at TOutlaw Josie Wells.
I'm always at JJ Outlaw on Twitter, and you can also find me at Gourmet Goober on Instagram. Please drop us a line, even if you would like to share your own best thing you ate this week, by emailing us at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. While you're on our website, you can sign up for our upcoming newsletter that comes out this fall, which will be featuring other exclusive content that you can find there. And then, of course, on our website, you can also help support our show, which there are multiple ways you can do that. Anywhere from reading a review to writing a review on Apple, for example, sharing it with other individuals, to actually buying Goober swag. So buying merch helps keeps the light on, which is very important these days. So on behalf of Big Daddy and I, thank you again for listening to another episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. And until next time, happy eating.
Happy eating.